Okay, so let's start with a wild thought. What if your entire life, I mean everything, every memory, every joy, every heartbreak, was actually a story that you chose to live? Today, we're going to dive into a narrative that just completely shakes up the foundation of reality and asks one really profound question: what makes a life real? This right here, this is the core idea of the whole story. And it makes you think, right? Just for a second, think about your own life. The highest highs, the lowest lows. Those feelings, that's what feels most real, isn't it? It's like the very texture of our existence. But what if, and this is where it gets crazy, what if all of that was part of a pre-written script, a life designed for you, maybe even by you? That is where our story really begins. So let's meet our protagonist, John Walter. He's 46 years old, living a pretty normal life in London, and the year is 2039. But one night, his entire reality is about to completely shatter.
So John's driving home. His mind is just buzzing, and it's from this surprisingly strong cup of coffee some kind stranger gave him. He glances down at his speedometer. He's doing 170 kilometers per hour. And then he loses control. The whole world just goes black. But this isn't the end. Not even close. Instead, John hears this calm, familiar voice telling him that his 46-year life, his wife, his kids, that entire journey he just lived, has been completed.
And then the truth comes out. There is no John Walter. There never was. There is only Subject 1987. His entire life, every single memory, every feeling was an elaborate, incredibly detailed simulation he had chosen to experience while his real self was in a state of deep neural sleep. You know, this just raises a massive question. Why? I mean, why would anyone, let alone a huge chunk of humanity, choose a fake life over the real thing? Well, the answer lies in the state of their world.
And get this wasn't some niche fringe experiment. By the time our story is happening, nearly half of the entire world's population had signed up for the Dream Traveler program. It had become the mainstream solution to humanity's biggest crisis.
And that crisis, it was a planet on the absolute brink of collapse. We're talking severe overpopulation, resources running out, nowhere left to live. So, by the mid-21st century, the Global Council proposed this radical solution. To save the planet from ourselves, a big part of the population would just move into simulations.
The deal was actually pretty simple. Give up your physical body, and in exchange, your brain could live for centuries, experiencing one perfect, pre-programmed life after another. You could literally design your own story, fill it with all the joy, success, and love you could ever want.
So, how in the world was this even possible? Well, the technology wasn't just about super powerful computers, it was about unlocking the most powerful processor in the known universe, the human brain itself. You know that old idea that we only use 10% of our brains? Well, in this world, scientists figured out how to unlock the other 90%. And with its full capacity unleashed, the brain could generate realities so complex, so unbelievably detailed, they were totally indistinguishable from real life. Turns out, our own minds held the power to create whole universes.
This incredible research was all formalized into something they called the Pandora Project, and its mission was simple: tap into that dormant power and, in doing so, completely change the course of human history.
But see, the project wasn't just about creating dreams to escape into, it was about using the brain's full predictive power to solve humanity's problems and will guide our evolution into something more.
But for our guy, Subject 1987, this journey is so far from over. In fact, the 46 years he just lived as John Walter, that was just a single chapter in a much, much, much longer story.
His guide reveals a totally staggering truth. The life of John Walter, it wasn't his first simulation, or his second. It was his 149th. He has lived again and again and again, all in search of an answer to one single question he asked almost 2,000 years ago. So, the big question is, after living 148 different lives as a hero, a scholar, a totally ordinary person, and racking up centuries of experience, has he finally found the answer he's been looking for?
The answer, after all this time, begins right here. It's not in some grand achievement or a final destination. It all starts with the simple, raw, powerful act of feeling. The joy, the sorrow, the love, the fear. That is the true foundation of existence.
But those feelings, they aren't just fleeting little sparks that fade away. No, they take hold. They harden and they crystallize, taking shape inside of us. They become the memories that form the unique, intricate tapestry of a single life.
And here it is, the final crucial piece of the puzzle. Those individual tapestries, woven from memory, they don't just disappear when a life ends. They get added to a greater whole, woven into the collective consciousness of humanity itself, becoming the shared knowledge and wisdom that gets passed on. This is his ultimate realization. The purpose isn't some grand external truth out there somewhere. The meaning of life is the living of it. It's the richness of the experience, the depth of the feeling, and the beauty of the memories you contribute to the whole.
So after nearly 2,000 years, he finally has his answer. But this incredible understanding presents him with one final profound choice about what he does next. Okay, so he has two choices on the table. He can evolve, take his huge collection of memories, and just transcend the messy, emotional human experience, becoming a higher being of pure consciousness, or he can remain, do it all over again, choose to stay human and continue the beautiful, painful, unpredictable journey of feeling.
And he chooses to feel. He chooses the journey over the destination. And that really leaves us with the ultimate question to think about. If you could trade the messy, unpredictable, sometimes painful experience of being human for a state of perfect, enlightened knowledge, would you? Or is the feeling of it all the only reality that's truly worth having?